Hello everyone. Today I would like to elaborate a little bit information about English debate. English debate has been acknowledged since long time ago, used as a format or a specific method of English learning. Why debate was chosen as one of the strategic method to invite students to be more engaged with learning is because the natures of debate invite learners to think critically and also think comprehensively simultaneously at the same time. Language means as communications. When somebody masters their English, they need to use their English in the real context zones. So debate is a training pool in which learners will be provided with chance and opportunities to improve and also to prove themselves that they can use the language effectively in an efficient mode of learning. So what is debate? English debate is a method that places emotions or issues that need to be described, explained, and decision will be assessed and evaluated by educators. So in order to convince the educators as well as the audience, we need to think what are the evidence, what arguments need to be built in order to make them convinced that what you have been saying in the debate stage is real convincing. So because debate invites two sides of different opinion, let's say affirmative house and the negative themes, they seems to work in the flow of their position to win the issues. So we can say that debate can be one of our daily activities, just like in the way you argue with the groceries that pass by your house, and then you argue to find a best price deal with the groceries, and that's a debate. Maybe sometimes you get into the debate with your friends, debating about what are the best activities need to be done during the weekend. Well, that's debate. But English debate that is described here is English debate in a systematic way of competition. Because it's a systematic way, the debates means to improve your intelligence and also your English proficiency at the same time. Well, now what are the benefits that we can get from practicing debate? In a debate, we use English as a medium to prove our arguments and our clarification. And at the same time, we also prove that what we have been talking about are equal to what we call as a truth. And it also invites your critical skills of thinking. There has been a lot of sayings about the objectives of learning in Indonesian educational context. They need to be more critical. There needs to be more comprehensive way of thinking. But how to make them critical, how to make learners critical are still a big question mark. And debate can be one of the options that need to be undertaken by English teachers in the class to invite them to be more critical. And number two, debates can be used as your logic reasoning method. When you present a language with people, when you interact with people, you need to prove that yourself logic. Sometimes arguments with logical biases will be hardly to be understood by your interlocutors, by your listeners. But by making debate as you're trained to think logically and making reasons, you can use arguments, and then you can pick up examples from different opinions and the references, and then you come up with the different conclusions. Well, that is the train of logic. And the last one is that you also have a chance to engage in a real actual opportunities of practicing language. You know, learning English in a foreign context like in Indonesia, it's quite very difficult for us to find, let's say, a community speech where we can engage into a community speech and we can, practice what we have been exposed a lot in the classroom. But because debate, our main language used to describe the arguments is English, you find a mode to practice and use English in your class, and you also can use whatever out there in your brain, whatever you have been memorizing so far in the class, in a real context zone. Because when you do debates, you have a chance to practice a lot of language functions like making comments, asking for clarifications, rebutting, describing, explaining, asking for informations, and sometimes disagreeing and agreeing. Those are the language functions that that are very useful in order to be a good speaker of English. And then the last but not least, is that English debates will help you to be an experiential learners. Why experiential learning is very important? That's because our system of education, lies down a lot in the classroom context. Outside classroom, we cannot find. It's quite hard for us to find a language partner in which we can improve our language proficiency. In English debates, you can find an experience. You are exposing yourself into a contact zone in which your experience become your memories, and your memories become your knowledge become your cognition, and cognition will be useful one day if you come up into the real or actual circumstances. So let's say debate here provides you with the actual circumstances, and then you can also find the suitable context in which what particular language function need to be associated with the specific objectives of communication. So the last of the last is that for me as a debate enthusiast, I found debate helped me to be more narrow in terms of bridging the gap between the information and knowledge. In today's world, the influx of information are very exponentially rapid. We have been exposing a lot with the oceans of information, but those information will become a knowledge if you know exactly how to suit it with the real context of language. Let's say making reasons. We have been, there has been a lot of information about particular things, but this particular thing has not been verified yet. If you still not know how to put it into the real context on your language. So debates, however, it has weaknesses. It's a superficial, it's an artificial, not real communicative practice, but it provides a lot of chances and opportunities at the same time to make language useful in the real context. And because you have been exposed to, I believe that you become the experiencers. Because you experience language, you will become fluent one day, and you keep remembering all those things that you have been practicing in the debate stage, and then one day it will help you to recall it back when you are using the language. So thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.